Bom dia, São Paulo, daqui de Lisboa. I hope you're having an interesting symposium. The theme of my communication is sustainability strategies into Portuguese higher education institutions, commitments and practices, which is part of my PhD thesis. The co-authors are Professors Sandra Caeiro and Ulisses Azeiteiro. My presentation is organized in 5 topics, which are general and specific aims, methods, results, conclusions, and next steps. The general aim is to assess how this sustainability was integrated in public universities in Portugal through its institutional strategies and policies, considering the goals of the Decade of Education for Sustainable Development 2005-2014. In earlier work, we analyzed how and to which extent Portuguese government and the Ministry of Science, Technology and Higher Education integrated sustainability in their plans, programs and policies. From 2 complementary analyses, documentation produced in the period 2005-2014 and from the key actors' perspective. Here the purpose of the study is to assess plans, policies and strategies at public university level, with strategical plans, activity plans and reports, and as well sustainability reports among other documentation, as well as to identify commitments and implementation practices. For this, we used a sample of 183 documents from 14 public universities, the Declaration of Tawar and Copernicus Charter, and also documents obtained when we interviewed the key actors on an earlier phase. The data collection period was from January 2015 to June 2016, concerning universities' documentation, Declaration of Tawar, and Copernicus Charter, and from October to December 2016 regarding documents obtained after interviewing key actors. This was a documental research whose collection mode was the public universities' websites, email contacts, and some documentation centers, mainly their responsible willingness to participate in this study concerning universities' documentation. Talwar, 1990, and Copernicus Network Coordination websites, key actors' email contacts from which we received documents. All documents were treated and analyzed. The qualitative aspects were treated by descriptive analysis, and the qualitative aspects were treated by content analysis. For that we used NVivo 11. What type of documents were these? We are talking about plans, activity plans and operational plans, strategic plans and development plans, and also strategic and activity plans. We have to talk about also reports, and here we mean activity reports, annual reports, which mean financial, and sustainability reports. And the third type is responsibility and assessment framework, which is an institutional performance assessment based on university's mission, their strategical goals or aims, assessment indicators, and verification sources. In these documents, we looked for the selected keywords after the systematic review content analysis, as for instance, Decade of Education for Sustainable Development, Environmental Education and Sustainable Development, and also universities, and many others. The results concerning the type of document by Portuguese Public University we could collect, treat and analyze are more than 1/3 of these were activity plans, strategical or operational, and another third were activity reports. And if you bear in mind type of document by Portuguese Public University regarding Pareto graph, we obtained the following results. 83% of all documents were from University of Minho, Universidade Aberta, which is an e-learning university, University of Porto, ISCTE, which is University Institute of Lisbon, University of Algarve, and University of Trás-os-Montes, and last but not the least, University of Évora. In a global approach, the greatest number of codified references found in all the documents for all public universities are integration and environmental education. Concerning the types of commitment, we considered that there are the following, and there are 3. Universities that signed all the declarations and made a move So which and or what was that moving? Universities that signed and published sustainable reports. And so what did they do? Universities that didn't sign or publish any sustainability report, but are they doing something regarding sustainability implementation? Regarding universities that signed all the declarations, we have the example of New University of Lisbon, in one of the documents obtained when we interviewed key actors on an early phase. This was the only Portuguese university that signed the Talwar Declaration in 1990, which is the first commitment or declaration signed by top management concerning sustainable development in Portugal. The project was called Campus Verde and was developed in Science and Technology faculty, though there are no registers whatsoever of structural development towards global sustainability in each new University of Lisbon's faculty. In what concerns to universities that signed and published sustainability reports, Universidade of Porto, more precisely, the engineer faculty used guidelines in 2006 and 2007. In 2008 onwards, Universidade of Porto used a model to assess, monitor, and report sustainability with focus on academic community, operations, teaching, and impact on society. The University of Minho was inspired by Global Reporting Initiative guidelines in their 2010 and 2011 sustainability reports, and then improved its report in 2012-2013 academic year, including a cultural dimension accordingly to Global Reporting Initiative guidelines. Regarding universities that didn't sign at all or published any sustainability report, the question is why are they doing something regarding sustainability implementation? Here we quote University Aberta and the University of Coimbra, either from the analysis of documents from the 14 public universities or those obtained when we interviewed key actors on an earlier phase. The Universidade Aberta's example is the beginning of a doctoral program in social sustainability and development in 2010-2011 academic year, which is an interdepartmental program between two departments, and in the case of Universidade of Coimbra, is the creation of Energy Initiative for Sustainability since 2007 as a platform intervention in qualified human resources working in an interdisciplinary cooperation. Some of the conclusions are, as the greatest number of codified references in public universities documents were only integration and environmental education, it might seem that universities weren't enough engaged in sustainable development during the decade, as sustainable or sustainability had much less references. Nevertheless, at this point, some forms of sustainability implementation in public universities observed in the documents were also referred by the key actors previously, like university's proposal for formative offer, which is a case like Universidade Aberta, local initiatives like Campus Verde in Science Technology faculty in Monte Caparica, and Energy Initiative for Sustainability in University of Coimbra. The universities with their sustainable reports, which is Minho or Porto, considered the Global Reporting Initiative guidelines with some adaptations. Namely, Minho, as it included the cultural dimension in 2012-2013, and Universidade of Porto, which was the pioneer university presenting a sustainable report in Portugal, when it presented a different framework of sustainability indicators in 2008 onwards, considering the academic community, operations, teaching, and impact on the society. Even universities without published sustainable reports or signed declarations implemented sustainable development strategies. Each university had its own strategy, even though, in some cases, like University of Coimbra, not so explicitly in the analyzed documents as plans, reports, or assessment frameworks. Among 13 Portuguese public universities in Portugal, only a reduced number implemented sustainability are or has an initiative that resulted from their proactiveness and not from a superior entity recommendation. Nevertheless, the initiatives seem to be taken in isolation from each other and not integrated at all. This is in line with universities didn't have any top-down policy in terms of sustainable development that resulted from the governmental and ministerial documental research. But this work or study has limitations. For the relevant period, which is 2005-2014, most universities published all documentation necessary for gathering and analysis. Notwithstanding, in relation to a small number of universities, and despite our best efforts to obtain further documentation, either through websites or direct contact with staff and documentation centers, we are able to determine that only a limited number of documentation was in fact published. To overcome this hindrance and complete our analysis, we will pursue our investigation through questionnaire survey. What are our next steps as we need more studies and move further? We have a proposal. Applying a survey to the person responsible for sustainability in public higher education institutions. Asked to assess what universities did to implement the decades of education for sustainable development. Asked to propose strategies and policies for sustainability improvements. How are we going to do that? By a questionnaire survey. Thank you very much for your attention. Questions are most welcome.